I am excited to be here today, joined by my wife. This is my wife, Mrs. Alice.
And my wife, Mrs. Jen.
We like to say wife, and people say, why do you like to do that? And it's like, well, when you've been deprived of something, like for my whole life, both our lifetimes, not to be allowed to be married against the law in Australia, stupidly like it was, I'm going to milk that Mrs. thing so much.
My wifey thing.
Yeah, it is. You're my wifey, you're my Mrs. Wifey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we wanted to jump on here, and because people keep saying, Jen, what's the story? How'd you guys meet? All that stuff. Because we've found love later in life.
Yeah.
We've both had a bit of life to get to this point, and we found love and are deliciously happy. And we wanted to share that, yeah, you can find love at any age, but you've got to show up for that to happen.
You do.
Yeah. So why don't we'll start at, you're a surfer and I'm a surfer, and we both surf at the same place, Currumbin Alley.
Yeah.
And it's 6.5 years ago now.
Wow.
We met in the surf one day, and there's this thing that if you surf the same time every day, you cross paths with people who surf the same kind of time, and that's how you make friends out in the surf. And one day we crossed paths and we said good day, and I found you on Facebook and I sent you a message, and you never wrote back. No, not for 5 years. We'll get to that. But I was really, I was traveling around the world as a speaker and doing my life and very focused. And I had been single for a block of time, like years, and I was dating and all that kind of stuff, but just still, just doing life. And we'd cross paths in the surf at different times, and you just kind of do the g'day. I was intimidated by you. I was a beginner surfer, and you were the surf teacher / gun out in the surf.
But just doing some instructing.
Yeah, well, I was intimidated by her in a big way. I remember one day we crossed paths at the shower, and I kind of went, oh, g'day. And I called you the name of another instructor at the alley, and you went, no, that's not me. That's the other one. I went, okay. just cement it that it was like, no. So we did this dance for like 5 years.
I was straight then.
You were straight. That's the other thing, is I didn't know that you were gay. I just figured that you were straight.
Yeah.
How wrong of me to assume.
Yeah, but that's how we'd met. Well, I was
we
straight.
have, yes. So well, let's go there, because you sent me a message 18 months ago and asked me out on a date. But what brought you to ask me out?
Well, I had.
Let's go there.
Yeah, I jumped the fence.
She did.
Jumped the fence. Must have been about 57. Yeah. I had an amazing relationship.
Yep.
With a trans man. Yeah. And went, wow, this is so different to any heterosexual relationship that I've had. Now I get it. I get it.
What did you get?
There was just the emotional connection.
Yeah.
It was fantastic, and I'd never really understood the rules of engagement with men, and
that's a way to put it.
Yeah. And so I'd had that relationship and gone, wow, I'm never going back to straight relationships again. I'm not going back to that. Felt like a desert with men. As much as I have, look, some of my best friends are men.
All of my best friends, my closest friends, are all men.
Yeah.
Same deal.
I have a son who I love dearly. Just in terms of intimacy and relationship, it just didn't click for me.
Same.
Yeah. So I jumped the fence, and I also I'd had a solid year of therapy to release post-traumatic stress and other forms of kind of trauma.
Life stuff.
Yeah, I'd been working through a lot of life stuff, very timely. And I'd done 3 sessions on relationship readiness with a couples counsellor, relationship therapist, because I just went, I get it now. I'm not completely messed up. I'm a good person. I am worth loving. I kind of came into myself and went, I'm a good person.
You are a good person.
And I thought, I'm not going to live out the rest of my life alone because I wanted to be in a relationship.
Yep.
I knew very clearly then that I did want to be in a relationship. And in fact, I knew I wanted to be married.
Nice.
Yeah. And so our paths had crossed in person, and our paths had crossed on Facebook, and I'd always found you a very attractive woman. And
the big daggy dyke.
once I knew where I was at in myself and in terms of intimacy and relationship, I knew that you didn't know and would never figure it out.
I was never going to ask her.
That I had jumped the fence.
Yeah, and with that, I had dated women. I had fallen in love with women in the past who had not been with a woman before, and through life and everything, those relationships ended, and they lasted years and years and years, decades in some cases. And I knew this time the relationship I wanted to go into the rest of my life was someone who was just a zillion% certain with their sexuality and that they wanted to be with women and stuff.
Yeah.
Versus someone that I fell in love with, different.
Yeah.
So I wanted someone to really, to be, to own who they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And incredibly, I was in that space.
You've done this. I didn't know.
And you didn't know. So
no, I didn't.
I realised I had to take matters into my own hands.
She did. She was all assertive.
Yep. And I sent you a message 5 years later and asked you out on a date.
You did. She asked me for a surf and a cuppa and a yarn. Yeah. I thought, who the hell uses the word yarn?
I do.
Yeah, you do. So I saw the message and just was having a bit of a stressful time in my life.
Very stressful.
Had a bit of stuff going down, and I saw the message and I just went, I just want some joy in my life. And I went, yes, let's catch up tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so we went on a surf date.
Yeah,
we did, and it was pissing down rain. We went to the
blowing
cafe.
on shore.
It was bloody horrible.
This is not the best surf condition.
A disgusting stormy day, but we went in the surf and we went. We had cuppa and then sat in the car, my car, for a couple of hours and just had a yarn.
We did.
For those internationals who are not Aussies, yarn is a chat.
A good old chinwag.
Yeah, they don't know what a chinwag is. Aussies have so many words. We had a chat for a couple of hours, and then I went through a real thing where I was really scared to hurt you if it wasn't going to work out. And so I did some work with someone.
You stepped up and did some work.
I did some work around that because I wasn't scared about me getting hurt. I was scared about if it didn't work out, me hurting you.
Yeah.
And so that was interesting. So a couple of months later, I surprised you.
You did.
Yeah. And I asked her to marry me.
Yeah.
When we're having my housewarming.
You did.
That was a bit of fun.
Quite a moment.
It was a moment.
Yeah.
But I loved it.
Yes, that was an astonishing moment. I had no idea that was coming.
No, I surprised you and you said yes.
Yeah, I did. I did. My gut said yes straight away.
Yeah, and then in August last year, so that was 9 months later, we got married.
Yeah. In
front of 100-ish of our closest friends.
We did.
Our tribes came together and it was just wonderful, and it was such a joy, love-filled,
an epically joyous day, wasn't it?
It was. It was really next level. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to do this one because people ask us, what's your story? Because we've got so many followers on the podcast.
Yeah.
But at the same time, to give those of you who have not found love yet, hope.
Yeah.
Because and part of that hope is that you've got to hold space that there is someone out there for you. Because if we keep doing and we've got to be engaged with life, it's really easy as we age to withdraw.
Yes.
And to lose confidence and things like that. And it's important to stay engaged in life. And I have people say, you've gone and found Alice and you're all in love. What dating app will I use? I tried dating apps, guys. And I definitely had some dates and I met some cool shit women. However, I realized I was not going when I found you, or, I'd come to the space beforehand that when I'd done work and I was ready to date again, which was, my mates would always say, oh, when are you going to date again? I'm going, no, I'm just not ready yet. Just happy being on my own. And I was not receptive to dating. I was very much I was dealing with a dying mum and just life. I really was. And I went, I haven't got the brain capacity to date anyone. And anyway, some of my mates asked me on a Saturday surf and they said, you going to date? And I went, you know what? I actually am. I'm ready. I'm ready. And I rattled off a list of things, the kind of chick that I wanted to meet.
Yeah.
And it was like 4 days later, you messaged me.
Yeah. But
it was good. The
did,
energy opened.
It did. It did. But you also changed your music, didn't you?
I did. Yeah.
You consciously thought through the
I
type
grew
of
me.
woman that you wanted to meet, and you shifted some fundamental things in your life in a way that would meet that type of woman.
Yeah, very much. So I really believe in energy, and I love music. And I have the kind of, I'm a hard-ass rock and roll-y kind of chick. And at the same time, at the other end of the spectrum, you know, I love playing my ukulele and stuff. And I've got this, COVID just changed my whole lifestyle with not traveling for a few years and doing more of the surfing, relaxed kind of life. And I went, wow, if I want to really, you know, attract the chick that I want, the woman that I'm on, the woman of my dreams, I knew I needed to change my energy. And it was a really mindful thing. And I remember sitting one day and just really feeling into what was the vibe that I wanted to carry forth in my relationships as I, you know, through the rest of my life. Setting up that I was going to, you know, right from the start, the intention to create and work on a relationship differently to what I'd done in the past, which hadn't worked. And so music became part of it. And I created a whole different playlist. And I played that playlist all the time. I put that vibe into me. And definitely that you couldn't have dated me 3 years ago.
No.
Fuck, I was not the person for you 3 years ago. I really wasn't.
Yeah.
So I needed to do the work on me. I needed to be open and receptive to what I wanted, because previously, like my vibe, my thought of what I wanted and my vibe didn't match.
No.
The energy wasn't congruent. There was no way I was going to attract who I thought I needed, or what, not needs the wrong word, that I wanted in a partner, a wife. But I did things really consciously, mindfully to change my energy, because we attract what we are. And so people go, oh, I want an outgoing, fun person, and they're miserable as shit sitting home watching telly. Well, you are not going to attract a fun, loving, out there partner if you're sitting home doing miserable, I can't find someone. So I just want to talk into that too, be the person that you want to attract, be that life, be that vibe.
Yeah, they're all really, really important things that you did. And for myself, you know, I did some really serious work on what's known as emotional regulation. I realized through the therapy that I'd done that, you know, I was getting triggered by different things. I hadn't ever known about that, and how to kind of control that triggering and manage it well. And so I did a heap of work around that, so that in a relationship, because relationships will always set off our triggers.
We attract the partner to trigger us to grow.
Yeah.
We do. It's just it's one of those laws of nature you can't beat.
That's right. And so I did a lot of the work around emotional regulation, and I use my breath. I know now, I notice when I've been triggered, and I take responsibility
to bring yourself
for
back
that,
to center.
to bring myself back to center. And that's made a huge difference
in
my ability to be
present in a relationship.
And entirely loving and respectful.
And I want to mention, kind of with that, it's we've all been hurt in the past. And what happens is when it's really easy to put a bit of a wall up, really is. And then it's big. I remember even Shane, you know, one of my best friends and my assistant, saying, Jen, will you just let her love you? And it was like, I had, you know, you get it 99% of the wall down. There's this 1% that's just scared.
Yeah.
But if I'd said to you, Alice, I am 99% sure that I want to marry you and have you as my wife for the rest of my life, you would have gone, fucking no. Would you?
I would have.
Yeah. And yet when we have that little piece of a wall up, that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're not even aware of it. It's just we go, a little bit of safety because I've been hurt in the past. Or shit, that doesn't work. It just doesn't. At some stage, we have to trust and just let down the guard and just go, I am giving this my best. There is no crystal balls, there's no guarantees. But that surrendering is such an important part.
It is.
Otherwise we can't. You'll never get what you need. Because they can feel it. You can feel it if someone's not all in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
hold hope.
Yeah.
Do your work, whatever your work
Do your
is.
work is.
Whether
Yeah,
you need
whatever
to
your
create
work
a
is.
different playlist for the energy you want to be in life, or whether it's you need to do any therapy, and I did my hippie trippy versions of therapy. Do whatever it is you need to do. If you are single and you're wanting to call in a partner, be that energy now.
Yeah.
Be open and receptive and allow it to come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would also say here, my beautiful wife.
Yes, my beautiful
Jennifer
wife.
Jefferies.
Mrs. Alice McKinnon.
You know, I had spent my life up until 57 just assuming that I was straight. You know, I just assumed. And, you know, in this day and age, there is our sexuality, and there is also gender fluidity, you know, and younger generations are much more able to go with the flow around gender fluidity without getting triggered.
Yeah.
But, you know, don't have to assume that your sexuality is anything
fixed to anything.
Fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah.
Nice point.
Thank you.
We love you.
Oh, I love you too.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk love and say that we can find love at any age.
Yeah.
Any age, if we're open and receptive to do so.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Mrs. Alice.
Thanks, Mrs. Jen.